Yo, 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 what up, fans of the fucking sport? It's Lemekh with selahsportstv. Right back at you with another one. So, I want to talk about this smoke and mirror show that's just about over. The smoke and mirror show is almost over. It's coming. And I think it'll be good for boxing. Boxing doesn't need a face of boxing, right? Boxing works better when rules are applied evenly to everybody. But before I go off on that tangent, because that's not what this video is about, um, let's just talk about it. And just to add some perspective and level-headedness to the convo, because that's what we do over here, level-headed convo, right? I'm just going to start by saying that Canelo has had a phenomenal career. Like, nobody can take that away from him, right? The guy's had a phenomenal fucking career. To me, Canelo is a top 3 counterpuncher in boxing. And that's today. I'm not talking about him in his prime, him at his best. I'm talking about today. This old, washed up version of Canelo is a top 3 counterpuncher that will get you the fuck out of there if you try to throw big shots. He will do it. Right? Canelo, like, you hear me talk a lot of shit on here, and I really, I'm not really talking shit. I mean what I say, but I mean this as well. I would not fight Canelo Alvarez. I wouldn't. Like, if Canelo slapped my girl on the ass, I would probably shoot him, but I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna fight him, and that's not really me. I'm more about being a man, fighting guys and all that. I'm not fighting Canelo. If I had a baseball bat, I wouldn't fight Canelo, right? Why? Because you can't even do damage with a baseball bat unless you swing it hard. But that's what he wants you to do. So what happens when you miss? It's like you miss and you die. No, I'm not. No. I would get him out of there. I just wouldn't feel great about it. Anyway, the guy can punch. The guy also has a granite fucking chin, okay? Canelo is a problem and has been a problem for a long time. He has a granite chin, and I believe his neck may be titanium, right? He doesn't get buzzed in fights. He don't get buzzed, right? Now that that's out of the way, like, that should put all the fucking fanboys at ease, right? On Canelo's case, you Canelo cocksuckers. That should put you all at ease, right? And the name fits because y'all take that fanboy shit to new dimensions. Fuck levels. Y'all take that shit to new dimensions. So yeah, that name stays. Bottom line is the guy can fight, period. Okay? The guy can fucking fight, period. He's been fighting all his life, and it shows. And I mean that in the best way. He knows he knows his way around the fucking ring. He knows what he's doing. Now that that's out of the way, for whatever reason, the guy, Canelo, right? The guy just isn't very confident in himself. It seems that he's just not very confident in himself, right? And I know that probably sounds crazy, like, to surface thinkers, people that's just, they take everything like on a surface level, so they don't dig deeper, they don't read body language, they don't do anything. It's just, oh, that's what he said, so, the NPCs out here in the world. I know that sounds crazy considering how Canelo conducts himself. Like, how can a guy like that, why would you say he's not confident in himself? Look at him. Look at how he carries himself. Look at how he talks. in public and in his interviews and stuff, right? I get it. I get it. Look at how he's always showing, a level of bravado, a level of machismo and all that other bullshit y'all are into. You men are into, right? Um, but here's the point where real, you know what I say? Real gotta recognize real, baby. Real gotta recognize real. For years, the diehard, the fans of the sport, not you Canelo cocksuckers. For years, the diehard fans of the sport have been asking Mr. Saul Alvarez to fight one of three guys. Just one. Just one. Right? Demetrius Andrade, Jermell Charlo, or David Benavidez. Right? And we're diehard fans, so we know how this works. We know he can't fight everybody. We know he can't fight. We don't expect him to fight all those guys, especially when they aren't able to fight each other. Right? But y'all do all this, he's the face of boxing, face of boxing. Do you know what comes with being a face of boxing? You pretty much can fight who you want. You move how you want, right? So they don't have the freedom that he has, is what I'm saying. And everybody knows that. Those guys are on PBC. Everybody knows what a shit show PBC is as a promotion. You don't get that many fights. You might fight once a year, maybe, on the PBC. So let's stop acting like you guys are fucking douchebags, man. It's like in one breath you're saying he's the face of boxing, then in another breath you expect all other fighters to be able to have the same power and freedom to do what he's doing. You're stupid. It's not your fault, but you are stupid, okay? So we know he can't fight everybody, but the problem is he's not fighting anybody that the diehard fans want him to fight. He's not giving us any of the fights that we actually want. Put it like this. If he fought Jamal Charlo, went and whipped on Jamal Charlo, because that's what I think that would have happened. I don't know why he avoided that guy. Like, you avoided Jamal Charlo, bruh. But if he had fought that guy, nobody would be pressing him to fight Demetrius Andrade right now. Right? If he had fought Demetrius Andrade, we wouldn't care as much that he won't fight David Benavidez. See? Because it's like, damn, he could really have that argument. Well, I can't fight everybody. What the fuck? You can really say that then, but you ain't, bruh. Like, every time one of these guys get in front of you to fight, you go somewhere else. You run off somewhere else. Right? You run off somewhere else. And now, thanks to this fat scumbag, Eddie Reynoso, we know why we're not getting a couple of those fights at least, right? We know why we're not getting them now. Eddie Reynoso, I don't know if he got sauced up or what, but he goes into an interview claiming that, these black fighters, they just jab and run away. Like, we're just basically cowards, right? That's what the black fighters are. Let me just say this. If you've been following this channel for any amount of time, we don't do that race hustle shit over here. We don't race bait. We don't care about race, right? This is a pro-truth channel, though. This is a pro-truth channel, which is why we got to address this highly disrespectful, ignorant lie that this fat fuck just tried to tell everybody. We got to address this. Now, you go back and watch the Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo fight. And be honest. Be honest with the people. Did Floyd run? Did Floyd run around the ring from Canelo? And this was a guy that on fight night outweighed him by about 20 pounds. Canelo came into that ring about 175. Go back and watch that fight. Look at the size difference. Floyd did not run. If he did run, the fight would have been probably a lot easier. Floyd broke Canelo in that fight. He didn't run. They were expecting that, but he didn't. He was right there in the pocket, mid-range. I'm talking about in the pocket all night with it, right? In the pocket all night with it. Like, he was up in that dude's face the whole night. And honestly, that to me was Floyd's best defensive performance, in my opinion. In my opinion, that was Floyd's best defensive fight ever. By the end of that fight, Canelo was on some shit like this. Yeah. It's like, why you all in my grill? Right? Had to take it back to the 90s. Yeah, or maybe that was like early 2000s. I think that was early 2000s. But yeah. And got embarrassed. Canelo got embarrassed in that fight. By the much smaller guy. You know, the much smaller guy. Would you look at that? So the much smaller guy can actually win a boxing match. Right? So we don't have to hear these dumbass excuses that he had up against Bivol. It's always some excuse. Here's another homework assignment. Go watch the Canelo versus Triple G fight. The first one. Right? Go watch the Canelo versus Triple G fight. The first installment. They fought 3 times. Go watch the first one. And come back and tell me who ran around the fucking ring in that fight. Who was getting stalked in that fight? Tell me. We know they gave him a draw somehow, but tell me who ran. Tell me who jabbed a couple times and ran in that fight. The only reason people become narcissistic is because they're insecure in themselves, right? They're insecure in themselves. They're insecure in their abilities. So in true narcissistic fashion, the only play left is to try to bring down others. You know, try to bring everybody else down one way or another. That's what the narcissist does. Right? It's not if I can't beat them, raise my game. It ain't even if I can't beat them, join them. It's if I can't beat them, let's bring them down. Either in a real way, i.e. draining and all that other stuff, rehydration, or with the comments. These types of ugly lies, right? Narcissist shit. Like, dude, you're a trainer. If all these guys are doing is jabbing a couple times and running, tell us why, and say it with your chest. Tell us why you fought Caleb Plant. What is Caleb Plant doing? He's not jabbing and running? He's banging in the booth, right? Caleb Plant, get the fuck out of here. Why did you fight Billy Joe Saunders? He's not jabbing and moving? Not only why did you fight him, how did you beat him? How were you able to beat those guys? They jab a couple times and fucking run around the ring. And everybody knows that. So it must be a lot more to it than that. Huh. It must be a lot more to it than that. You ready? You ready for this? Being elusive does not mean running, right? Being elusive does not equate to running, okay? But if this cocksucker gets on TV, Eddie Reynoso, this cocksucker Eddie Reynoso, if he goes on TV and says, the black fighters, they're a little too elusive. They're very elusive. They're too elusive. He knows how that would sound, right? He knows how that would sound, but that's what he really meant. Let's go back to the Floyd fight. Did he run around the ring? No. Was he extremely elusive in that fight? Yes. Like the fast twitchies were turned all the way up in that fight. And this was an older Floyd. He was very, very elusive. Too elusive. But that's too much like right, see? So why not just go on and disparage a whole race of fucking people? Classy, Eddie. Real classy. But it's cool. Like, we shouldn't... I don't think... This ain't one of these... This is not an emotional response. I hope guys realize that. Like, I've seen a lot of emotional responses about this. People are mad and shit. Like, y'all gotta stop that, man. Let people express themselves and just listen. Just peep game sometime. Like, put your emotions to the back. We don't give a fuck what this cocksucker thinks. Right? We really don't. We addressing it because it's a lie. That's it. And it's easily broken down. But sometimes you just gotta sit back and let your opponent trip himself up before you move in for the kill, right? Let your opponent trip himself up, right? Before you move in for the kill. And basically, Eddie Reynoso just did that. He tripped himself up. And Canelo. How so, Lemekh? How? Why you say that? Well, now all fighters know what your kryptonite is, right? All fighters. Now, we already kind of knew that he don't like fighting certain guys, but again, look at the Caleb Plant and Billy Joe Saunders thing. So it ain't just moving. It's something else that he has a problem with. So now other fighters can start implementing your kryptonite into their game plan. Even if they didn't plan, even if weren't naturally elusive, that's something that every fighter that's coming up against you, they're gonna start working on that. They're gonna start working on that. Controlling space and distance against your little ass. Thank your trainer for that. Thank your trainer. So, good luck on the back nine of your career. Because it's the hurt business. Like, your opponents they use everything, any kind of tell that you give, they're gonna use it. They will use it. And what's the biggest tell is something like, we ain't talking about that shit Tank was doing. Like, oh yeah, I got a mole in your camp, and yeah, I know you got hurt in sparring. So yeah, like, we ain't talking about that type of intel. We talking about this type of shit, psychological shit. Like, the stuff he said, and he said similar things in the past, but I think, like I said, I think he just got a little sauced up this time. He just said it, right? He said it in Spanish too, so he thought he was being slick. But, bro, niggas speak Spanish, bro. I don't know, like, it's the most basic language in the world. It's not hard. Like, niggas speak Spanish. So, anyway, like I said, good luck on the back nine of your career. We're just getting started on these guys, though, so stay tuned for part 2. There will be a part 2 to this. It goes even deeper. Part 2 is going to be coming at you fast, so stay tuned. Pause. Anyway, if you like the video, jab that like button, then run around your fucking room one time. Right? Peace.